Hi, Don here. Welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. And we're going to go over a kind of a topic that many doctors have asked me on the podcast. So they ask about doing cash payments in the office. So I wanted to give you a kind of a perspective of what we do in our office. Actually, one of the reasons we switched EMRs recently is because we have a kind of a large portion of cash. We had, let's say it's about a $4 million practice. We have four doctors, and about 3 I think 3.6 is kind of insurance, and then the other like 1.4 is cash, and that would be like orthotics here, shockwave, probably copays, things like that. But there are a lot of other cash things that can be done in your office. So that's what we're going to go over. I want to kind of explain how I put this together. So I'm using a different version here. This, instead of doing PowerPoints, I find this a little bit easier. If you really hate this version, let me know. If you are listening to this on the podcast, you can go to the YouTube and you can watch this. Or I think I'm probably going to put it within Podiatry Practice Mastery as well as a master class that's in there. So how do you develop a cash strong practice? The way I kind of put together these ideas was something with impact filter, and then I put together a worksheet for afterwards. This, if you're listening to this, you can go to the either email me Donna@podiatrypracticemastery.com and I'll send you the questions, or you can look at them at the bottom, or you can log in to get access to it. I did use AI to have some ideas about cash practice, but really it's just what's been working in the practice here. So why to develop a strong cash practice? It increases your revenue. I believe that insurance is covering less and less. It helps to increase revenue with the patients that you currently have in the office. So the goal, I always say, is you can reduce the low-level visits and increase the high-level visits. And cash pay treatments are the high-level visits many times. And so patients, they tend to get better faster, and it sets you apart. So for example, setting you apart might be doing Swift where no one else has Swift. They only have the traditional wart treatment, so they would come into you, not having shockwave, and no one else has shockwave coming in to see you, and then just having the increased profitability of that, and then making all diagnoses more profitable. I think that is key, what we all want to do. This is kind of my take on this. What's working well for me, it might work better for you in your practice. Other things, um, different types of treatments that are elective treatments, such as orthotics, patients can choose to do them. Cosmetic treatments for toenails, so Keriflex, Onifix, laser, nail fungus. Speed up the recovery, like Swift speeds up wart healing. Laser, it might speed up healing. Shockwave, I truly believe, speeds up healing. And then performance or recovery enhancement, such as shockwave and amnio. And then add-ons to current treatment. So these are cash pay like biotin, foam rollers, UV light, shoe sprays. There's a new thing called an alleviate massager, which is like a grass thinning tool. And then imaging that are cash pay. And in our area, cash pay for some patients, others, it's covered. I think these are good questions for you to ask, what you currently offer for cash pay. So we do orthotics, shockwave, amnio, Swift, a lot of other things. You don't want to carry things that you don't do. And I can't emphasize this enough. I want to say, first of all, one of our mistakes, and nothing against this because I like the person. I just don't use the lasers that I have that much. So we have 3 lasers, and we're not doing too good at using any of them. So if any of you are really good at using lasers, send me an email, don@podiatrypracticemastery.com. I will do an interview. I will make friends with you, and you can teach me. We started with the Cutera laser for warts, and we bought one of those. And we still use it for warts. We tried to use it on fungal toenails, didn't work. It still works on warts, so we use it for warts. It's an expensive machine just for warts when you can use cantharidin or something else, I guess, cheaper. Swift, I guess, as well would be expensive, and it has that whole tip thing. You have to pay for the tips, but I think it works better than the laser, and by stimulating the immune response. Another mistake that we made after that is we bought a lunula, and we rented the lunula. I'm sorry, we rented it because we didn't want to buy it, and I don't find it works as good either. That's just my opinion. If you are a lunula person, tell me how to do it. For the real thick nails, I'm still doing the oral medication, and I don't have very many thin nails that I can recommend for it. So that's just my take with the lunula. We rent it, so we pay per click. Every time you turn it on, you pay. And then we also have a Remy. And the reason I don't use the Remy, once again, I kind of got burnt on the toenail thing, so I don't use it on toenails. The pain component, I haven't trained my staff to do the pain component of it, which I hear it works well for pain. And it just takes time. So in my opinion, if you can maybe charge maybe, I don't know, $60 a session, it's not worth my time. So it's a low value profit thing. And so it's not worth it for me to do that. So those are some of the mistakes I've made is I own these things. So I wouldn't buy something else I wouldn't use. If you're going to use it, you have to figure out kind of how to use it. Some of the obstacles I think that people have that doctors tell me when I'm kind of working through issues with them. Many people don't want to spend money on new technology or new treatments, and I don't know how to get over this except you have to. Some companies will make it easier. They'll have buyback options. I know Swift has that thing as a buyback, which is a really good way to reverse risk. um, Affordable financing. I think that's something that makes it feasible, and determining how many patients you have for a diagnosis. Now, this is always something that the companies tell you in theory, but the issue is like you really need to sell the thing. You have to know how to sell whatever you're offering, and that's the whole problem. Is like switching how you currently treat plantar fasciitis and then doing with shockwave is a challenge because you can invest in it, but if you're not seeing the patients or if you're not able to explain it to the patients well, then it's going to be a detriment because then it's just going to be kind of sitting in your back office and you're not using it. So if you need help with that, reach out to me. I will try to help you if you're like have just junk sitting around that you're not able to use. I think this is the real thing. I don't feel comfortable selling, and I think that's how a lot of us are. A couple of things that have helped me get through that is I use my treatment sheets as a plan, kind of how I find works best, and I kind of use that and go through what I recommend for patients. Visit one, visit two. Now, as I'm learning more about kind of sales and persuasion, I'm learning that that might be not be the best way, but it's the way I'm doing it right now, along with my patient presentations. Another thing would be using a video or a handout to position the treatment. So if you're not familiar with positioning would be patients knowing about it before you're seeing them for it. So for example, I have a website that's called fixmywart.com. And in there, they can get the book on warts, and then they can get information, and then I can contact them, and then I can get them in, and they can be seen for Swift. So it's a way that way, instead of when they come in and they want to be treated with a wart and they're thinking, oh, I'm just going to do salicylic acid and it'll be better, then it's going to be harder to offer Swift. Or also, if they're seen 2 or 3 other doctors first, they haven't gotten better, then they come and see us, and then we can offer Swift. So I find that positioning with a book, positioning with a video, positioning with something that they can learn more about the treatments before they come in, or you being the second opinion. I think if you can be the second opinion, I think that's key. Second opinion, because it's easier for the second person than it is the first person. Another thing would be focusing on large check versus low check. And this is a mistake that I made in the past was I used to always offer like you want to get the $3 toe spacer and focus all my time talking about the $3 things where I didn't talk about the $600 orthotics. So when you're talk about large check and give away small check. So give away things that really are lower value things. And then let videos do the selling before you come in. Have them watch a video, and a lot of times when you're talking about sales, you need to be there's a need to believe that needs to be established before they're going to do it. So, for example, before they come in and do shockwave, they need to believe that they have plantar fasciitis, and they need to believe that they've tried the other things that didn't work before they can try the shockwave or orthotics or anything else like that. So sometimes it's a multi-step approach. Many times it's not the first visit. I've been doing these treatments unless they come in after seeing someone else or they're already positioned and ready to know they want that. Most patients, I'm educating them, I'm building rapport with them, and then the second or third visit, then I'm offering these other types of treatments. Okay, so let the videos do, or your multiple visits do it. So a lot of times what I mean about let the videos do the selling, after I see them for the first visit, I'm going to send you some patient education information. There's a video there with an explanation of the different treatment options. Many docs as well don't know how to get started. I always say, and this is a mistake that I make, so I'm trying to help you not to do what I do. Don't try to do a ton of things. Just kind of pick one diagnosis you see a lot of and find a way to increase cash pay from that. So find one thing, do it, get comfortable, do a lot of it, make it part of your protocol, and then go to the next one. Don't do like I do. Don't start like a whole bunch of things at once. So fungus, My biggest struggle with fungus is, first of all, I don't think laser works that well. I wish it did, and I'm sorry if you believe it. If you do believe it, reach out to me, please. I want to be converted. Okay. I still tend to do terbinafine, but I wanted to make it more profitable. And so the things I could add would be the UV light, shoe spray, and the biotin. I didn't add biotin here. Um, biotin. So those are things that you could add to it. And the way I did that was with my treatment sheet. So I have a treatment sheet that my patients fill out, and that's how they kind of do this whole process uh, of treating nail fungus. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of show you how I do that with patients here. Okay, so here is the treatment sheet here. This is what I use for nail fungus. You can see here the diagnosis. The first visit, I do a nail sample. I might do a topical antifungal. I'm going to have them review the video resources, which are right down here. Second visit, so once again, determining they have it, and then going into the treatments, liver function test, oral medication, biotin. I say that this helps the nails to grow faster. And then I recommend usually at the third visit a booster, and then and then along with preventing recurrence, UV light, shoe spray, wash your towels, alternate your shoes, disinfect your showers. So I include all of this on here because these are all the recommendations. And I don't just include just the things that are for sale, right? So it's a whole process, and this is what I recommend for patients to do. And this is kind of what gets them better faster. Okay, so that's kind of what works for me for doing this. And I have a couple of other reminders here, uh, and and this is how I can do so many of these UV lights and shoe sprays, and also the biotin. So you can do this for other diagnoses. So I have you can see here all of my other diagnoses here, let's say for plantar fasciitis, a similar thing. I have visit one and visit two. Now, I was corrected recently by a one of these like sales coach guys that I'm meeting with. And he says, "Yeah, Don, this is it's a little too streamlined and intense and complex, and it might scare people away. But some people like this format. I think at least to get this in your mind of how you treat it, I think it's fine. You have to have some version of this to be clear because there's so many treatments you do, and it has everything that patients could need. I think for us this works. Sometimes for patients it doesn't always work. Might overwhelm them. So that's just an example for plantar fasciitis, how I include that, and it includes in their shockwave foam rolling. Um, pick a treatment that's cash pay with multiple diagnoses. So, for example, shockwave, you can use it on anything that has a tendon. You can use it on plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendonitis, other things like that, metatarsalgia, fractures if it's a focused shockwave. Um, I also recommend focus on great quality products and things that you're proud of. You don't want to be just like have bad stuff. I had a doctor that came and visited me, and he had a shockwave, and it like one of these that was made in China, and it was just looked cheap. It didn't. There's no confidence in it. He wasn't confident in it. He wasn't using it. And he just kind of wasted his money. So I would recommend getting something that is a good quality that you're proud of. Okay. Um, and make sure it's a procedure you spend the time learning, get comfortable. So, for example, ask the rep, spend time with the rep, go to conferences, learn about it, visit other doctors. You can come visit me. I'm always inviting other doctors to come and visit me. I'd be happy to have you here. Okay. But you have to learn to do things so you get comfortable. This is the biggest problem with people buying things and they're not comfortable doing it. So you need to learn how to do it and offer it and recommend it and things like that. No one buys for me when I offer the treatment. That's another concern that doctors have. Do you believe in it? Like, have you tried enough? And when I was starting out with ultrasound, I wasn't that good. And so for the first couple of months, I did it for free on everyone just so I could learn the anatomy. Same thing with shockwave. I was doing shockwave for $100 for the first couple of months until I got used to doing it and got good results. And all of a sudden, okay, now I'm confident in it. I'm going to do it. So you need that. Don't create confusion. This is my problem. Sometimes I offer too many things and I kind of complicate things because I want to be so comprehensive. I try to simplify things now and offer less things. Um, I like to have a treatment sheet because it's a process versus random offers. I like writing these things down, and I like to be honest and authentic with patients in terms of the success rate. I do find that shockwave is 80 or 90% effective. I can say more so on certain conditions than others, like on plantar fasciitis and Achilles tendonitis. Yes, on insertional Achilles tendonitis, not as much because the bone area. So I try to be honest and authentic and just tell the truth to patients about how effective things are. Um, what if you're not sure how to incorporate the protocol? I recommend writing out your current protocol and what you're offering, what you do all the time already. And I like the idea of putting it on sheets with visit one and visit two. I think if you can script out what your plans are for visit one and visit two, it's better. Okay. Because three, four, and five are going to work on their own. So for example, I have for my plantar fasciitis, I have visit one, what I recommend, and then I have visit two, and I have additional things. But most of the time, by the second visit, I know what I'm doing for the patients and what they're going to be doing. So I think that's an important thing for you to write that out. If you want to see mine, let me know. Um, Send me an email, and I can get you a copy of those, whatever ones that you want. And then kind of see what can be added for cash pay. Look at what other people are doing, what you feel confident in doing, and then practice offering and decide. So I told you, I went over this before, the heel pain. Visit one, I showed you that. X-rays, exam, meloxicam, which moves it to a level 4 because of medication management. A stretch, UFOs, foam roller, night splint, 3-week follow-up, and I fill out the treatment sheet. Visit 2, if it's still hurting, ultrasound, and then either cortisone or shockwave, mostly shockwave for me, and then orthotics. A 10% discount if they purchase everything together. I think that's something else about offering cash things. If you offer a lot of things they're going to do, you give them a discount if they do all of them in bulk. Like if they schedule all 4 Swifts, I'll give them 10% off. And then if they don't need one, then I'll refund them. Same thing with Shockwave. Sometimes I jump to the second base and I do it all the same day. Those tend to be patients that are second opinions or patients that have maybe treated in the past or I've seen in the past and they haven't gotten better and they're back again. So I might skip and jump to the second base with nail fungus, for example. So nail fungus, go watch the video, get the nail sample, and then at the next visit, I fill out the treatment sheet and I show them how they're going to use all those things. I've kind of explained that to you. Some tips, develop a treatment plan, including cash pay. Have a clear explanation of how to use the treatments. Another thing I didn't include in here, make sure you have adequate inventory. So this is something that happened to us recently because I was doing so much of the biotin where I was running out. And so you have to have like par levels and have that checked every day of like, okay, we're going to keep, I don't know, 5, like every week, every day, we're going to keep 5 cam boots, 5 ankle braces, 5 biotins, 5 this and that. And then if it gets down to that level, then you order more. Okay, this is something that I made a mistake with by running out. Have clear expectations of how to use the treatment. So my staff know how to train the patients with I call it the Aquinas process, which really it's called the Pelto special is what they call it. Morning stretch, foam rolling, and the night splint. And then don't just sell, but you have to show them. So show them how it works, show them how to foam roll, show them when to do it, show them how to include it in their routine, show them how to make it easy. I think that's key, so they don't feel confused. Give a discount for paying in advance. That's for packages, fungal nail, for example, Swift, Shockwave. Offer patients the ability to pay for speed. I think patients want to get better faster. So I asked them, do you want to start on second base? Like we can wait 3 weeks and try these other things. Frankly, very rarely does the initial stuff work, in my opinion. Occasionally, like if it's just a tight Aquinas patient, it might get better. But if they want to start on second base, it's quicker. I think an ultrasound really tells me a lot of information. Do you want to speed up healing by 50%? Do you want to reduce the treatment 2 to 3 times? So offer to pay for what you tell them to purchase. A lot of times we're sending patients out, and I think by sending patients out of the office, first of all, they're not doing it, and because it's more complex, and we're also losing out on the revenue. So other things you could offer, like biotin, UFOs, foam rollers, shoes, compression socks. Um, I'm a big advocate of case studies, so share other similar patients and how they did well. I can do this with a video. They can watch my videos. When I have a good successful patient with Shockwave, I'll do a little video of them, and I put that on the Shockwave scheduling page on the page on our website about Shockwave. There's videos, testimonials. I also tell about other patients. I say that I frequently see this in the office, and this will get better. This isn't going to last forever. It's going to be a lot of work in the beginning. Show the change that they had and the results that they received. I always say when they come back after Shockwave, specifically, I give them the last Shockwave handout, and it explains you're going to be a little bit better, at about 6 weeks, and it'll continue to improve. More good days than bad days. I think it's important to do role playing with the staff and doctors to explain the treatments. I had a recent example where I was getting coached on from a person, and he did let me do the presentation, and then he kind of gave me pointers and tips. So I would offer that to anyone that's listening here. If you want me to review, you do your presentation to one of your staff and let me hear it. Do like a visit 1, visit 2 for plantar fasciitis and send it over, and I'd be happy to give you some critiques or some tips. Um, Marketing, set up blog, post videos, social media on these topics. We do a weekly newsletter. If you want to see our newsletter, you could go to centralmasspodiatry.com/blog. You can see our newsletters in there. We tend to have one focus per month. The way I do that is I have on my cell phone, I have Google Notes, and on Google Notes here, I have different topics, and I think of different stories and different things to share with the patients. Okay. I think there are some mistakes. These are mistakes that all of them that I have made in the past. So I want to share some of these. Hopefully, you won't make these same mistakes. Lack of confidence. I think usually there's a lack of confidence, but it's mostly because of the product or the treatment. I lacked confidence about ABIs in the past, and I got a lot of training from the reps and things like that, and now it like made sense, and then I can do a lot more of it. Just like anything, even when you're learning surgery, like in the beginning, you're not as confident, and you're not going to do it if you're not confident in how to do things. Like for me, I'm not confident doing a triple arthrodesis. You might be, okay, because I didn't do a lot of those in residency, and so I'm not going to do those because I'm not confident. Same thing with offering things to patients. If you're not confident in whatever you're offering, and the only way to get confidence is reps, right? So you have to do reps with repetition. Just have patients come in, offer it for free just to learn. Also, it makes it more difficult if there's no clear protocol. So I think having a protocol, if you have things to sell, like Swift, you have to have a protocol for warts. If you have Shockwave, you have to have a protocol for things you're using that for. A big thing I think for me anyway helps is ultrasound. So if you don't have ultrasound, it's really hard to do amnio. It's really hard to do shockwave because you're not able to show the before and after, the effusion in the plantar fascia, and that just takes practice. And get a good one. Don't get a cheap one. Lack of technology to sell. If you don't have it, you can't sell it, right? If I don't make orthotics, I can't offer it. If I don't have Swift, I can't offer it. Things like that. Lack of a unique selling proposition. There's a saying that says, I guess this is a saying. I've seen doctor down the road here for my plantar fasciitis. Why should I see you instead? What sets you apart? Like this is something you have to ask. Like why should they come and see us versus everyone else? And it's because for us, it's because we have ultrasound. It's because we have, we have shockwave. We have these advanced regenerative treatments that no one else has. We have these webinars. We have these books that we've written, things like that position yourself. Inability to sell treatments effectively. If you're bad, just watch some YouTube videos, get some sales books, learn to tell stories about other patients. I have a lot of this within my Podiatry Practice Mastery, that whole course that I have. I keep it real cheap for people because if you can't, like it might cost I don't know $500 a year, but you're going to make that back in spades with this content. Not staying up to date. I think going to courses are really important. Learn about ultrasound, join groups, that's why I have my WhatsApp group about practice management and things like that. I put together this worksheet. I would recommend if you want to do some work and even send it to me. I would challenge you if you're listening here or watching here, write down these questions here. What type of cash pay procedures do you currently have in your practice? Write down the ones that you have. Okay. What are the top 3 in terms of profitability? For me, it's Shockwave, it's orthotics, and it's Swift. Okay. What possible cash pay items can you add that excite you? So what excite me really is it like amnio? That excites me. It's a cash pay. I'm not doing a lot of it. I would like to do more of it. Right now, other things, I'm kind of overwhelmed with what I have. There's nothing else that's really exciting me right now. How confident are you at selling cash? If you're not confident, like how can we do? If not, what are your difficulties? Like, are you not good at sales? You don't have confidence, too busy, don't have a system? And do you have a system to attract cash pay patients or patients that want these things? And then what are your obstacles? So I like this method of thinking about things, and I do this frequently. I write down like all my obstacles or all my frustrations or all the things that suck on one side of the page, and on the other side I put in like the different solutions. Okay. And then finally, if I've seen another podiatrist, why should I see you? What's kind of sets you apart? Now, if you need help with some of these things, I like to use these days, like in terms of brainstorming, I would put in Chat GPT. Give me a system for attracting cash pay payments for plantar fasciitis or for shockwave, and Chat GPT will give you a lot of good ideas. So send me an audio if you want to do that. I'd love to hear from you. Email me any questions down at Podiatry Practice Mastery. I hope you guys found this beneficial. Once again, if you like this, wherever you're listening to this, please like it. Please share it with others. If you want to learn more or reach out to me if you have any questions, I'd be happy to help you get better in your practice. Okay, thanks.